My name is Duanne and I work for Hobbycraft Leeds. Today we're going to show you 3 ways on how to do a scrapbook page. The items that you're going to be needing is your initial scrapbook, some photographs, some ribbon, some sticky diamantes and pearls, cutting mat, transfer tape, good pair of scissors, some glue dots, and for accents I'm going to be using tracing paper, self-adhesive ribbon and some tags. Let's get started. For the scrapbook, initially what you want to do is start with a photograph. Let this be the epicenter of everything that you're going to be using. First of all, you need to trim off your photograph. Once that is done, using a pair of scissors, just do a small score line on the corners of the photographs to keep in mind where you'd like to use them. Remove your photographs and then be ready to start the background. For this, we have some lace that was left over from the wedding. Secure the lace in place with glue dots. All the adhesives that you use in this project need to be acid-free so as not to eat through the photographs themselves. Press down securely in place, trim off the excess. Now use your adhesive lace to add another border. As this is self-adhesive, we needn't worry about using glue. Now that we have the base of white down, we can accent using a darker color. For this border, I'm doing a row that's 3 diamantes wide. I'm placing this in the top right-hand corner with a small border remaining free. Now that we have the background done, we're going to start placing the photographs on using an acid-free tape. Now we can accent all the blank spaces using the rest of the elements we have. Keep in mind not to overwork the picture at all. The item that you want to stand out would be the photograph. And there you have how to start a scrapbook page using black and welling elements. Next, we're going to show you how to do a scrapbook for a child in a small format. The products you're going to be needing for this project are a cutting mat, acid-free transfer tape, acid-free glue dots, some scrapbooking papers and accent papers, some wooden numbers that are coloured, some buttons, self-adhesive ribbon, and some little tags, as well as a sharp pair of scissors. Let's get started. Choose your photograph, trim along the edge to create a small white border. Get an idea as to where you'd like to place the photograph. Once that is done, using a pair of scissors, go along the edge of the photograph and just do a small score line on the corners of the photographs to keep in mind where you'd like to use them. Now that you know where you're going to be placing your photograph, let's get started creating the background. I'm going to be using a grungy piece of paper as the backdrop. This is going to go behind the photograph. Butt the photograph up to the corner of your scrapbooking paper to create a border that is even on both sides. Cut down with a pair of scissors and then neaten up with a cutting mat. Now we're going to be working on strips of pastel blue and pastel pink torn into little lines. By tearing the paper, you give a much more informal and fun look to the page. And trim off using a sharp pair of scissors. And place them on the score lines we'd made earlier. We will now accent the page using some paper bunting and some buttons and self-adhesive ribbon. We will secure the bunting in place using small glue dots. Using a tag printed scrapbook sheet, we're going to cut out a pastel tag to place accordingly. We will adhere the paper flowers down using glue dots as we're going to top these with buttons. And now we'll secure some fun wooden letters. Once you've chosen the letters you'd like to place on, adhere these with transfer tape. And that is how you start a scrapbook for a child in a small format. Next, you'll do a scrapbook in a craft style using many pre-bought craft elements. What you're going to be needing is the base photographs, a scrapbook craft card, sharp pair of scissors, acid-free transfer tape, glue dots, a cutting mat, and an assortment of pre-bought elements. For this I'm going to be using a combination of stickers, paper, and pre-bought tags, and then accenting with some distress inks. Let's get started. As I'm using photos printed onto glossy paper, I'm going to be trimming up using a cutting mat. You want to create a small white border all along your photograph. As your photographs need to take precedence, place them onto your page and use a sharp pair of scissors and score along the outside. Once this is done, you can start to mat and layer your photographs. For this, I'm going to be using a piece of burnt terracotta card. Apply this to the card, creating an even border along the corners, and adhere using an acid-free transfer tape. And then trim the edges As this is from a trip that we've been on, I have tickets to the various places we've been as well, and that we're going to be adding to the scrapbook. You want a slight border and then a tear around about at a 45-degree angle. As a white border for this page is going to be too hard, we're going to use a distress ink to age this out. I'm going to be using a colour called Antique Linen as the first coat. Using a circular motion, polish over the white just to knock down the colour a little bit. Then we're going to go for Vintage Photo just to warm the colour up a little bit. When you're happy with the finish, secure this piece of paper into your scrapbook. Trim off any paper that is overhanging with a sharp pair of scissors. Now we're going to place our photographs down. Once again, always using acid-free transfer tape. And then we're going to stick the tickets and receipts we have from the trip. Now we're going to use the pre-bought elements just to accent the pages a little bit. As this looks a little new, we're going to distress the edge using an open pair of scissors. When you're using an irregular surface, glue dots are the best for securing that down. And there you have how to start a scrapbook using pre-bought elements and various techniques on a craft cardstock. To sum up, this is what we've covered today. How to start a scrapbook for a wedding, for a child, or for a trip abroad. For more information on the products we used today, please go to our website or come and visit one of us in store.